Hello, friends and lovers, and welcome to a week of Romantasy reading. I'm participating in Romantasy-a-thon, which I discovered on Instagram. I really like the concept and I thought the invite was very cute. So basically, it looked like this. Very cute, very Canva. The whole point of the readathon is to fulfill prompts in order to go to the Starfall Ball. So there's different prompts like, what are you gonna wear? What's your background? If you bring a weapon, like a bunch of different things. I'm using it as an excuse to get through my extensive backlist of Romantasy. So I'm starting off with Nectar of the Wicked by Ella Fields. This is my second Ella Fields, and I actually there's something about her way that she writes Romantasy that I'm obsessed with. There's something that just really works for me. It both happened in the last one I picked up and this one. It just feels like seamless for me to get into the world, and I feel like I know what's going on. I don't feel like it's like bogged down by giving me like too much of the world, but the world feels lived in enough that you like understand the like goings on. You know, because sometimes like if it's a little too fantasy forward and I was really looking for a Romantasy, it might not be like what I was anticipating, and then being like, oh, there's so many words to learn. Not that that's a bad thing. I also read regular fantasy, but you know, like when you want a Romantasy, I feel like this is exactly what I want in a Romantasy. I feel like she writes very contained stories, so she doesn't tend to do long series. She actually does a lot of standalones. So here comes the first conundrum. I thought this was a standalone fantasy. It is a duet. So I'm starting this, but I think I will jump into the second one. So this one is the only one out traditionally, but the second one is still indie published and is on Kindle Unlimited. So I'm gonna pick that one up next. I'm actually now already like 50% of the way through this because technically the readathon started yesterday, but I was a little busy. So I was like, okay, we'll quietly work on this and then we'll catch up tomorrow. So we are here in tomorrow. I'm 150 pages and this is only like 3:30, and I really do think I'll finish this today because when I pick it up, literally like time's flying. The pages are going. So this takes place with a girl who doesn't know her name and is known as Flea to those who don't love her. And she is a changeling. She's a fae child who was like interchanged with a human child. She was raised by a human mother, if we would call her that, who, you know, is a little bitter about receiving a child that is not her own. And so she's very confused and like sheltered from the world. And she finds herself involved with the Fae King, as you do, as you should. And really like, so I had like a suspicion while I was reading this. I was like, oh, like this is a little too, like this is going a little too easily, but don't worry. Ella Fields brings the drama. That's what I was like, oh, like the other one had a lot more like angst going on. Like when am I gonna, I don't know, like feel something super strongly? I did. I found it. Ella Fields did not let me down. She's basically like whisked away to the Fae Kingdom and enters into a marriage of convenience with a Fae King, as you do. And at first, like everything is as it seems, but there are things that start to feel off. And as you go, you realize why it feels off. And the simplicity that you think the story is, like it just becomes more. So anyway, I'm very much enjoying this. Like I said, I'm halfway through now. And so a lot of things are happening. And I do think I'm going to immediately jump into the second book. This book is going to fulfill my prompt for my background. So I'm going to be Fae. I know, shocker. I'm sure no one else is going to pick Fae. So she's going to be for that one in the little box. But yes, so I'm going to continue reading this, give you my updates. And then, you know, when I pick up the sequel, I think the sequel is going to go into, there's like a category that has a prompt that's like a sequel. And so we will do that. Okay, I owe a much needed update. I've gotten very lost this weekend when I started my period, so I swear like the beginning of my period feels like a flu. Like I'm coming down with the flu or something. Like I get a headache. I just feel like lethargic and gross, and yeah, so I have just been like in bed reading, so sorry you haven't seen a lot of that. I literally like filmed those clips this morning and then promptly just laid on the couch bundled in a blanket with my heating pad on. I did want to update you because I have finished her and I started the sequel. So I feel like I only really told you kind of the basic premise, but I would say, because I don't want people picking up who don't like kind of captive and some much needed groveling. If you like those, then I think you'd like this. I did end on like a solid 4-star. There was some things that didn't work for me, and that was like the repeated plot being exposed to the main character via her like overhearing someone else. Like that kept happening. I can think of 4 instances where she discovered like plot specific things just by overhearing them. And she's only really in this one house. So it just keeps happening in the same place. And you're just like, why? So like that got a little annoying. But besides that, I did have a good time. And I did at the beginning, I was like, oh, like this doesn't have like the angst that I'm used to with Ella Fields, because I've only read one other book from her. And I was like, like I read The Wolf and the Wildflower, and I really liked that one. I loved the angst and I loved the buildup, and I was like instantly in it, just like I was with this one, where I was like, okay, like I want to know more instantly about the world and about the characters and like what's going on here. And I felt the same way in both, but this one, it definitely like lulls you into a false sense of security, being like, oh, okay, this is what the book's about, and then it goes. I knew I wasn't gonna go to sleep until I finished, because like, you know, when you can like sense a betrayal coming, like you're like, I can tell that someone's about to do something, and I knew I wasn't gonna sleep until this was done, and I was right. And then I immediately picked up book 2, because this is a duet, which I didn't know when I started. I thought that they were gonna be like connected standalones, because the other series, the book that I read, was a connected standalone, and I just read that by itself, even though it has a first book. That's what I assumed this was, but no, it's a duet. So we are finishing that. But in terms of the Romantasy readathon, I now have my character background, so that's what this was for. I believe it was like you had to pick like what kind of character you were going to be, if you were going to be like a vampire, a witch, a fae. So we went with fae because this book's about fae. So she's there. And then the sequel, there is Who Are You Gonna Bring? It is a sequel. So I am bringing a fae king. I'm sure he wants me as I give grunge. So I am very much enjoying book 2. It definitely is all of the angst and all of the groveling, and then also just like a deepening connection of the characters. I do feel like I really don't like it when people make duets when something is like they're both like 300 plus pages, because that feels like that could just be one book. But in this, like I definitely see like this has a full arc, so like I see the justification for, you know, the second book, and it does like seem to justify a duet. But I like side-eye it a little bit, because when they're around 300 pages, I'm like, just make it a 600-page book. You know, maybe some less people would pick it up, but maybe some more people would pick it up. Besides that, yes, I'm very much loving, and I'm excited to tell you how I'm feeling. I'm definitely just like very much in it, and I'm eating it up. I'm just going to enjoy, I'm gonna get back on the couch and just feel like crap and keep reading and just, you know, enjoy my day off. And then we go back to work tomorrow. So hopefully tomorrow I will start a new book and we'll have, you know, more fun from there. Hi, good morning. I'm ready to leave for work, and I'm literally gonna run late if I don't do this fast. So we're gonna do this fast, I say as I pause to have a sip of coffee. So basically, I read about 55% while having my lounge around in bed day, and I'm really loving it so far. This one's called The Wrath of the Damned, I believe. I will put the cover here. I'm really enjoying this one. Like, I just feel like the angst is top tier, and also there's a lot of action and like a culmination of the plot from the first one into this one, and like the things that were left open call for a battle, you know? So right now they are doing like a long, like, not adventure, what do you call it when soldiers are moving? I don't know. They're just on a jaunty little walk together to go fight a man. Oh, it's just been a little bit more action packed, because the first one was a lot more like slow moving, and it was a lot more like you like slowly realizing that like, okay, like something's off here. You know, and that one kind of took time because it mostly took place in like one manner, where this is like definitely like an expansion of the world, an expansion of the characters, and there's just like more going on and more being discovered. And so I just feel like this one is so much better paced than the first one. At this point, I feel safe to say this is like a 4.5, you know, depending on how they wrap up the ending. But, you know, I'm feeling 4.5, like 150 pages that I have left. I'm going to try to see if I can finish it today, because I really am feeling like starting something new. Also because I really want to get to 6 books. I don't think I will, but so far I'm just having like such a great time doing little romantasy reading. Like, I don't know, I'm just like, I'm thriving in this environment. I think it kind of like reminds me of when I like first got into like young adult fantasy and just how much fun I had. And it's kind of just like bringing up like young me's feelings, but like, you know, in a slightly new direction. So I am just having a good time. But hopefully my next update will be me, you know, finishing this up, us placing the Fae King as our date for the Starfall Ball, because it's what I deserve. Hello. So we're here for yet another long drink in the bathroom. You know, every week is a week, and it happens to you every week, you know? Like, it's just what happens. Anyway, so I'm 60 pages from finishing the book. So I'm so close, and I'm loving it. I'm eating it up. Like I said, 4.5. I'm feeling it till the end. So we'll see how like the very last bit wraps up, but I'm having a good time, and I hope I can start another book today before I go to bed. We'll decide what that is. That's for later Jana to decide. Now Jana needs to drink long drink and take a shower. We are like 4 days in to Romantasy-a-thon. I finally finished 2 books. So that's very exciting. So now we have my background, which is Fae, and we have my date, which is a Fae King, as I deserve. As I deserve. And too bad I don't get a familiar. It would be a black cat. But yeah, just to quickly wrap up, I did tell you last night, I was like 60 pages from the end. I finished. I'm still feeling 4.5 for The Wrath of the Damned. It was just like, I just had so much fun. There was so much angst and yearning and like all of these feelings that I was in the middle of while I was reading. And so, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I feel like the first one, I was like along for the ride. And then the second one, you know, like when you're reading and you just kind of lose track of reading, and then you're like, I read 10 pages. I was like, I don't even know if I was conscious because I was just like, what's gonna happen next? But it went very well. I just wanted him in the shot a little more. But yes, so I'm starting this, but I am a little worried. So we'll see how this reads, because when I tell you I'm only 5 pages in, and as a Starlight Air by Amelia Howard,
rough writing. And then also the girl in this, the girl is like, me and my mother like to pretend together that we're like princesses or ladies in waiting, and a hot guard could love us one day. And then her mom's like, do you want to be a princess? And she's like, I want to be a spy. And she's like, you could be a princess spy. I'm like, okay, what is that? I don't know, like, I feel like there's a way to, like, have, like, whimsical imagination without it sounding like poorly written YA, but she's not doing it. Because so far, the character's just coming across, like, incredibly naive, and she's supposed to be 25. I do enjoy that now, I think, in Romantasy, we are aging characters up. I do enjoy that. But sometimes they still read 18, you know, like, or even younger, you know, like I understand the whimsy, and it's supposed to be like her relationship with her mother. Like, I understand it serves a purpose. But it's cringe. It's cringe culture. So we'll see. I'm going to try this today, and then if I want to DNF it, it's really sad because it's a very pretty edition. And also, like, she's stunning. They're stunning. So, you know, I'm going to give it my best shot. If I'm having, like, fun, if it's, like, a fun, goofy time, look, I'm on board. But, ooh, it's just, when I looked up this author's backlist, it's all historical romance. So, while I am all for, you know, authors branching out, now I'm like, is it her historical romance read like this? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. At the back, the stars have spoken, and one of their own awakens. Also, like, there's this, like, bird that's on here. It's a bird with a wolf's head on it. Also, you're very creepy in the corner of this. But I love you. But yeah, so it was a little off-putting because I pulled up the regular cover and it's just a big picture of that. And I was like, that's kind of weird to look at. Anyway, I'll let you know if I DNF this or if I continue. But like I said, I'm only 5 pages in and I'm not feeling promising.
As many of you know, I am starting a new job soon. So I've spent a lot of money. I went shopping over the weekend, and I did also online shop, and I bought 3 pairs of shoes. 2 of them are for work, one's for fun. Ooh, yes, okay. These are for work. They're sexy. I really wanted like a pointed heeled boot because I just think they look good under a nice pair of slacks. So I'm very much looking forward to those ones. And then I got another pair of boots, but they're like long. Yes. So, oh my God, I'm in love with these. I think these will look good with like dresses or like long skirts, or even if I have like, I have a tighter pair of slacks too. So these are cute. I'm very excited for those ones. I think they're gonna look cool. And I also think like, I could also wear these ones for fun. They also feel very comfortable. Like they feel like they're good quality. Pair, my just for fun pair are like these Doc Martens, but they're like slides. They kind of look like Birkenstock slides. These ones I'm super excited about. My friends both have a pair of Birkenstocks, and so I was like, I don't love Birkenstocks, but you know what I do love is Doc Martens. Look at that. She's stunning. She's stunning. Hello and welcome to the corner of my bedroom where we have my other bookcase, which is never featured. It also has my Holly Black shelf down there, just full of Elfame books and just stacked literally to the gills. And I'm getting more, and I don't even know where I'm gonna put them. But that's not why we're updating from this corner. So I came home from work because I'm just like not feeling lit. So I was just gonna, you know, get in bed, do a little work from home, but for the most part, just chill out. So I did update you this morning that I started the Starlight Air, and you heard me complain about it, and I decided I'm gonna DNF it for now, maybe forever. It was dumb. The writing was just not what I wanted, and it's not, I think, what's going to make me successful in this Romantasy readathon. So we have changed to Immortals by Su Lin Tan, because if you know me, you know that I am a giant fan of the Daughter of the Moon Goddess series, and this is like lightly attached. Like, they take place in the same world, but it is still like, it's different. Like, those characters aren't in it. It's just a shared universe. This follows our heroine, who she was going to die because she had been sick, and I think she had been poisoned, and her grandfather had a lotus flower that basically would turn her into an immortal and allow her to survive. But the immortals were expecting him to give it to them because it was like part of their agreement that like they're supposed to be the protector of this particular flower. And since he failed, he died. So now she's visiting the immortals, and she's trying to, you know, politically maneuver her city out of the immortals' control, because they've been blocked off from other mortals, and the immortals have just like basically been treating them, you know, not well. And so she would like to try to petition the queen to let her rejoin the mortal world. And so she's kind of using a little bit of trickery. She's definitely using her influences. And of course, there is a hot god of death, and she's into him, he's into her, but she's using him to try to get the favor of the queen. So obviously drama will ensue from there. So far I am at 30% of the way in. It has captured my attention. Su Lin Tan has so far done no wrongs. I've only ever given her 5 stars, and I'm very much like in this world, and I feel emotions. I am going through it. But I also like just came off of the novella for her first duet. So maybe I am like at an advantage that I was just like freshly reminded of this world, because I have heard from other people who've read this that they don't feel like the world was as fleshed out in this one. And so I can't really speak to that because I just read a book in this series and I felt like I was in it, and I feel like I'm understanding it now. And in the Fairyloot edition, there's an additional prelude to the story. So I'm going to read that and then, you know, keep going, because I was at work reading the audiobook, and so now I can read the prelude. Okay. Hello. Welcome to Jana's kitchen, where she reluctantly cooks dinner. I don't get anything out of being domestic in any way. I am like someone's bad husband. I don't want to do anything ever. I only do it because I know it makes me a better partner. And ask yourself, what can you do today to show up for the loved ones in your life? Anyway, I'll stop being silly now. So I've been listening to Immortals today. Like I said, I did come home early. I laid down for a while. I just woke up from a nap, but I was going to make dinner for my boyfriend and I. So I'm going to work on that. But because I'm feeling a lot better now, which thank the Lord, because I felt gross. But yeah, Immortals has so far been really good. She's back in her kingdom, and some stuff has been afoot, and now it's like really interesting. There's stuff happening, and I'm like, what? I really only listened to like 5% more of it after I spoke to you last time. So I really have no update besides I'm going to continue to listen to it while I cook. We've made it. Okay, so today is my last day at my current job, and then I have a week off. So it's been like surprisingly sad. Like, people have stopped by my desk and been like, oh, we're really gonna miss you. And then one girl told me that I'm like a ray of sunshine. So like, how do I just move on from that, Gina? But anyway, I have been also reading Romantasy during this difficult time. So we are 1 hour from finishing her on audio. I love it. I'm obsessed. Like,
5 stars. Easy. Sulintan, my whole heart. Like, do I think this is as good as Daughter of the Moon Goddess? No. But I am enjoying it so much. And definitely when I compare it to how I've been feeling, like, in general towards all the books I've been reading, because I honestly really haven't had many 5 stars this year yet. I think I'm sitting at 1. And this feels like its rightful place should be up there. So I will put this up there. So just so much has happened in this. And so I struggle to like talk about it because I don't want anyone going in with like any preconceived notions, because it's just so good. And then there's also like plot twist. So I don't want to give anything away because there's just so much going on here. And when you think you're settled and you're like, yes, I know what's going on. No idea. I had no clue what's going on. Head empty. So 1 hour of this left and I am treasuring it. And then I think I'm going to immediately jump into Water Moon. And this is like a Ghibli style book that has like, I think like magical realism elements in it. And I don't know, like something about this just feels like magical, and it has like that train on the water, like Spirited Away, like, I don't know. So I'm very excited for this one. I am like a little apprehensive just because I do sometimes magical realism in me do not work. And I haven't had like any close friends read this yet. So we'll see. We'll see how I go. Hopefully I enjoy it. Hopefully I love it as I go into this weekend of freedom. my 1 week of unemployment between jobs. So yeah, technically we only have like 1 more day of Romantasy-a-thon. I might honestly go a day or 2 over. Don't hold me on that. I just want to keep having a good time.
So it is now the evening and I finished my last day of work. It was like really bittersweet. I've never stayed at a place before I started resenting it. So that was, it was interesting. And I feel like I'm like processing a lot of feelings. It was very slow today. So I actually got a lot of this done. They let me go at like 2, but by the time it was 2, I was already like 35% of the way through this. And now I think I'm sitting at like almost 60. I think I only have about 90 more minutes of the audiobook. So I'm going to keep reading this. This has been like such a delight. And I think like it also was really good for the kind of day I was having, because it's very like immersive. And so it was easy to fall into. So like, even though I was kind of doing mundane things while, you know, I'm making a big life change. So it like kept my mind off stuff, but also it's very an elaborate world that's like a little confusing but interesting, and it's all about these different families that all like are stewards of this different kind of like almost like magic. They like help our world run, like they're just like adjacent to our world and people like stumble into them. So the heroine's family, she is part of a pawn shop where they like take people's regrets. So instead of like a necklace or something, they like take something from someone that has been like weighing them down. It's just something like very beautiful about this. I will say I'm not feeling like a 5 star, even though this has just been a very much enjoyable experience for me. I just don't like, I don't know. There's something about it that makes me feel like a little like a step back. It could also be, you know, what I'm currently going through. It's such like a wonderful journey. I would really struggle to call this like romantasy. It does more feel like a romantic fantasy where like, or a fantasy with like romance elements, because while there is like a couple in it, they are very much focused on like the journey and the mission that they're on. So they're really just trying to like find her father and uncover the mystery of what happened to her mother, and while also, you know, they're having feelings for each other while going on this adventure. The guy is like a regular human that kind of like stumbles into the pawn shop and just like ends up helping her. So yes, very much just this just feels like a hug. Like, it really does like feel like a Ghibli movie to me. It feels like watching Howl's Moving Castle. Like, stunning. You know, so yes, so I'm probably gonna finish this tonight on audio, and then tomorrow's the last day of the readathon. And I actually started this last night and didn't tell you about it. I know, ooh, she's keeping secrets from me. And it's The Coven by Herbert L. Woods, and it's just because I picked this up on Kindle to read before I went to bed, like 3 chapters. So I'm gonna keep going with that. This is only like 200 and something pages, so I think I should be able to finish it tomorrow, hopefully do a few more chapters tonight, and then, you know, have a wonderful end to Romantasy-a-thon, because if I finish this, have finished 5 books for this readathon, which honestly was beyond my wildest dreams. I was just happy that I got to like Nectar of the Wicked and Immortal in the same week. I was like, yes. And so now, you know, I've gotten through so many of my special editions too, which was like a big goal of mine this month. So I'm just having a good time. And this has just been, you know, it's been magical. And so I'm ready to be totally prepared for the Starfall Ball. I do think like this is going to be like what I wear. So this is, I'll have like a blue dress. And so far we have blue dress. I'm Fae. I'm coming with a Fae King. And then I think the other one of the prompts was like reading Fated Mates. And so I feel like that's Immortal. And then I'll figure out how this fits in. Did I just like pick up books that I felt drawn to and said like what fits the prompts? Yes. Because I would rather bend a readathon to fit me than bend myself to fit a readathon.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I yet again thought I started the video and I didn't. This has happened multiple times. I do not know what's happening to me. Anyway, like I said last night, I finished Watermoon, and it just like, this felt like a warm hug. I was like coloring while listening to this on audio, and it just felt like a warm hug. It felt like a Ghibli movie. It felt like the world was like explained enough, but also like kept very like whimsical and light. Just overall, I just like, I want to read everything else this author has put out with. I'm like leaning towards like a 4.5. I don't know. Part of me is just like, give it 5 stars. Like, I don't know. Like, I keep thinking about it. Like, what is keeping me from it? But when I think about this compared to like a book like Immortal, there is a difference to me. So like, I don't know, but this was just so good, and probably my favorite book that has ever been compared to a Ghibli movie. And I feel like it is like very accurate in that depiction. So yeah, so we finished this last night. And like I said yesterday, I did pick up The Coven. I'm about 50 pages into this now. Today is the last day of the readathon. So my goal is to just finish this. Here is where it looks like we're gonna end the readathon at. So this is gonna be for my weapon. She has like earth powers, so I'm a Fae, got a Fae King, as I deserve, have earth powers, and then the trope with my date is fated love. The only box I'm not able to fill out is the bonus prompts, which I don't feel too bad about. Like 5 books in a week, you know, like I'm only human. Actually, like such a good reading week with how my reading's been going, so I'm just happy. And so I'm enjoying this. It's definitely like not on par with the other books I've been reading. This is definitely more like paranormal romance than like, I feel like a true like fantasy romance so far. And it is quite short. So I'm 50 pages in, which is already like out of like 280. So I think I should be able to finish this today. I am getting on a train to go to my parents today, so I should have plenty of reading time then, and then also like tonight after my parents go to bed early. So I'm not too worried about getting this done. Like if it goes into one day over, whatever, like we already see where the readathon is going. So once I finish this up, then we'll have finished the video. I've had such a good time. how into my pores you can now see, but I got a new phone. So it's a very exciting time. But I figured it was finally time to wrap up my Romantasy video. It's been a week. Is it because I gave the last book 2 stars? So it really took the sail out of my wings, if you will. So yeah, so I ended up finishing this, and I just felt like it didn't bring anything new to the table to a, you know, academic, magical school professor situation. Like, I don't even know if I ever even explained to you guys really what this was, but it just was disappointing. So I don't know if you need to know more. I feel what really bothered me is that there was just like no reason for me to like, one, root for the relationship. She was just like insta lust with him for like no reason, even though she could like feel he had bad motivations. And then later you find out he had bad motivations and you're like, well, yeah, she knew that, but she still was just like making stupid choices. So it wasn't good. I don't even think I will read the second book. I think I'm gonna sell this one. So what a way to end my week of Romantasy reading, because overall I had a good time. So just to recap what we did, we read Nectar of the Wicked and the sequel, which I love the sequel even more than the first one, but I really liked this one. I just had a really good time. This did like feel a little meandering at first, but I felt like it was all very purposeful. So really like this one. Solid 4-star duet. Okay. And then after that, I did try to pick up the Starlight Heir. We DNF'd that. So this I'll also be selling. Which is sad because it's a very pretty book, but I already did a reenactment for you about the dialogue and I could not move past it. So, and then I read I think this is my first 5-star for like a full-length book this year. Immortal by Sue Lin Tan. Girl never lets me down. She was perfect. I loved her. And then I read Watermoon, which felt like a warm Ghibli style hug. So, you know, like we had a journey. So we had what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did 5 books. And you know, that's good. Like, I feel like we had a good time. Am I missing a book? Oh, no. Because that's a duet. I was like, I read 6 books for this. I should be holding up 6 books right now. But yeah, so thank you for joining me as I prepare for the Starlight Ball. This is where we ended. This is how we're going to the ball. I'm a fae. I have a fae king, as I deserve. And then our trope was fated mates. Our weapon was some sort of ground magic, which, you know, easily strapped to a thigh. So yeah, so this is how we ended the readathon. But yeah, thank you for going on this journey with me. I had a lot of fun, and I feel like I have reawakened like a love for Romantasy in my bones. So this really did serve a purpose for me, even if not everything was a win, you know? So anyway, thank you so much for watching.